Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Miles. You're tuning in at Xraised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. Now, I heard from most of the law practitioners that legal research has always felt a bit daunting, complex, time consuming, maybe even a little outdated. But today we're diving into how that world is changing with our guest, who's an absolute powerhouse in the legal space. She's a barrister, a published author, an AI innovator, and a recognized leader in legal tech. From working with top judges to rewriting how legal professionals conduct research, she's built a solution that lets lawyers cut through legal complexity with speed and precision. Back here on the show is the co-founder and CEO of MiAI Law, the extraordinary Laina Chan. Hi, Laina. Welcome back.
Hi, Miles. Thank you. I'm just putting do not disturb on. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So, today I'd like us to dig deep into a topic I hear about more and more when big disputes hit the table: damages, decisions, and how legal teams can move faster with better tools. And I know in most industries, timing is everything. And I imagine in litigation, being able to find the right decisions fast can make all the difference. So, Lena, for those listening right now, can you walk us through how My AI Law helps lawyers quickly locate the most authoritative and up-to-date decisions when building a case?
How? Well, you just
Yes.
ask. You just ask my AI law a natural language question. You can,
Uh-huh.
you come onto our platform, and I can't show you the platform because we have to lodge a Design Act protection. So I can't show that. I
Yes.
mean, we've got our demo, but that's not our real platform. You come on and across the top, actually, I don't know how they've done the final, but across the top, it's clear you can go to structured case summaries, you can do some light research, you can do some deep research, you can do legislative research, which is another world first.
Uh-huh.
And even my own developers didn't believe. Did I tell you this? They didn't even believe that it could be done.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
and then we also have the contract review set. So then you come in and you pick which sort you want to do. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just but what I find of interest, because I've spoken to lots of people, including judges, right? And when you're in court, the other side will often surprise you with the case that you haven't looked at,
Uh-huh.
and you haven't looked at for the purpose of that case, and you're on the hop, and you're put on the back foot because you don't know. But the same thing also happens to judges. They also haven't heard of all these
Yeah.
cases. So judges have said to me, it'd be really useful to have, and practitioners have said to me, it'd be really useful to have my AI law, because someone will mention a case that nobody has heard of, and you can quickly get the correct citation, and then you can retrieve the case summary, because we have the case summaries for every single case in
Yes.
our database. And so you can then quickly read it, and it's structured in a way that it tells you exactly what the facts are, what the executive summary of the case is, what the arguments in the case have been, what the reasoning is, what the final findings are, and what the rules are. So you can quickly
Yeah.
scan through it, and then you're no longer feeling a bit lost, as you do the moment
Mhm.
somebody else mentions a case that you hadn't read, which is a
Yeah.
horrible feeling in court. And then you can quickly fill the black
Correct.
hole with some knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really powerful. In other words, it's not just finding the right case, but making sure it's the most reliable, relevant, and up-to-date route to win their argument. And
Yes,
the fact
yes.
that it's pulling directly from primary sources with that kind of speed, no wonder a lot of lawyers are now saying that's game-changing. And here's something I
They're
found.
only saying, sorry, they're
Mhm.
only saying because I've shown them, I've let them play with the demo. We're going to beta in less than 2 weeks now. So
Uh-huh.
the rest of the world can see, but the people who have seen it are just people I've let them play with my
Yes.
sandbox.
Yeah.
The
And
developers gave me sandbox.
yes.
Because they said, we don't want you to the main model. So
Mhm.
we're giving
Well,
you
I've
a
seen a lot of comments about it. Like it's game changing, it's really incredible, and a lot more. And here's something I found really interesting, Lena. In business, even just a small difference in regulations from one state to another can throw off a strategy. And I've heard that when it comes to damages, rulings can vary widely depending on the jurisdiction. So, how does my AI help lawyers match their arguments with the right legal logic for their specific forum and fact pattern?
Yes, it's really interesting because my new legal researcher was my editor at LexisNexis for 3 years.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
really funny actually because I used to give him work for 3 years. I was submitting all kinds of work to him, case summaries of, because I had to write case notes for the insurance law
Mhm.
bulletin. And I updated the Annotated Insurance Contracts Act, which hadn't been updated for 8 years. So I was feeding him work all the time. He never said anything. He would just say thank you, etc. And he never said anything. He never came back. He never corrected me. He never did anything. But
Uh-huh.
now I know that with all the checking that he's doing, oh my God, he's like amazing attention to detail. Like everything is checked. Like everything, he will tell you exactly what is wrong with any of our work when it cited the wrong paragraph number, everything. And I said,
Yeah.
until you started working for me, I didn't think you read my work because you never said anything. And he
Yeah.
goes, because you gave me work that I didn't need to correct. Isn't that nice? But
Wow.
anyway, but then he told me that, I have heard, I have heard from other, people I've spoken to that when they use, for example, Thomson Reuters research function, they
Uh-huh.
will ask it to give them the law on Western Australia. And it will
Okay.
give and it will return a really authoritative answer, but then it's actually referring to New South Wales law. And then they go back and they say, no, 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 we don't want the New South Wales legislation. We need to know what the state of the law is in Western Australia. And so it goes away and redoes the research again. And it gives you the same answer. It refers to, again, the New South Wales legislation. And I think the same thing happens at LexisNexis because Keenan, who used to work for Lexis, said that the developers told them that they couldn't extract the jurisdiction of the case. I don't know why, but in my AI law, we can. We tell you
Mhm.
exactly what case, the name of the case. We tell
Uh-huh.
you what court it is. We tell you what jurisdiction. We tell you everything. I mean, people who have
Specifically.
gone onto LinkedIn and looked at some of the outputs. So you're able to do jurisdiction specific research
Mm-hmm. So,
on our database. And then you can do you can do it for any jurisdiction you want. If you want to do legislative research, you do have to tell us which
yeah,
activists you want us to do research on because the legislation database, you know,
wouldn't be able to guess.
it's massive. It's absolutely
Mhm.
massive. It can't. So you might do some case research to start off with to identify what the relevant legislation is, and then after that, you would then move to the legislation research
Mhm.
to then drill into the piece of legislation itself.
Yeah.
But you can't expect us to just be able to, out of the blue, out of the
Yeah,
sea
guess it
of
right.
ocean of all the legislation, be able to find you the relevant piece of legislation and find you the relevant sections in the legislation. It's just
Mhm.
not possible. And that's why you need a lawyer. It's not
Yeah.
we're not selling to just the layperson. The lawyer has to guide
Mhm.
us, and in guiding us, you have to tell us exactly what it is you want an answer to,
Yes.
and then it doesn't matter. You can make your answer as complex as you like, or your question as complex. We can handle it,
Mhm.
but we do need you when you are coming to our legislation feature. You have to tell us which act it is that you want us to do
Mhm.
the first principles analysis on. We're not like magic, we can't just go out there and
Of course.
out of the and find you that needle and then analyze that needle for you to give you the answer. It's not
Mhm.
possible.
Yeah, but
Not
you're
with
essentially
today's technology.
Mm-hmm. But you're essentially giving practitioners a precision tool, not a one size fits all research or search, but a jurisdiction specific lens that actually speaks the legal language on their or of their forum. I mean, it's not just guessing, it's making sure you're not just heading in the right direction, but that you're also on the right road for the specific
Guide you.
data that they're looking for, or the region that they're operating in. And you've also described my AI as evidence grade, Lena. And to me, that suggests a level of precision and reliability that goes beyond just surface level search. So when lawyers are working on high value damage claims, how does my AI law distinguish between things that just look relevant versus those that are truly applicable precedents?
It's for the human. I mean, we can find you the relevant rules and the relevant principles,
Uh-huh.
but then it's up to the human to apply it.
Okay.
I mean, I can't tell you how I do it in the background. We just go and we find cases on point. Well, like for every research that we do, we would unearth a lot of cases. It will have to be in the cases. We set limits, but it would be over 100 cases that we are pulling out of our database
Okay.
to answer your question, and then from all of the cases that are pulled out, we do ranking and rating, and then we identify the cases.
Ah.
I can't tell you how I do that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we
yeah,
do
I
it.
get it. So it's less about keyword hunting and it's matching rather the right legal principles to the right facts.
That you have told us. You've given us the context of what you're researching, and then we will go and we will find the answers for you based on that context and applying all the legal algorithms which
Mhm,
from the which encapsulates all the research methodology that I have adopted
mhm.
to find the answers.
Yeah, so cutting straight to the cases that truly matter. Again, depending on what they ask, my AI law. So now, Lena, let's talk scale. I've worked with execs juggling multiple client portfolios and it gets overwhelming fast. So for barristers who are managing several complex files at once, how does my AI law help them accelerate research without sacrificing depth and accuracy?
I think this is what you would do. You would come in
Mm-hmm.
and go to the light research feature, and you would just ask it your question. The light research feature will give you an answer, and it's still evidence based. It still will be linked to our the cases on point, and it will still give you the relevant pinpoint referencing, and you would get a quick feel for what the answer might be. It would then direct you. Then you would go to the deep research feature, and
Uh-huh.
then you dig deeper and get more in-depth analysis. And then if you find that it's then giving you referring to specific pieces of legislation, you would then move to the legislation research feature and
Mm-hmm.
ask it whatever it is you want to ask it. And it will then go into, you can even ask it, what are the relevant causes of action or sections that I can use in
Yeah.
this particular act to achieve X for my client, and this is the scenario, whatever. It will go through and it will do the analysis on the piece of legislation and find the relevant sections and read in all the definitions and explain to you what the section means. And then it will try and find all the regulations, the legislative instruments that have been made under that piece of legislation that might be is relevant to those sections. It would read it all in, it would analyze it for you, and it then tells you where you're at, what the answer is, and it would be backed up by case law as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty amazing.
Yeah,
That
it
is the
sounds
one
so
that my
amazing.
developers didn't believe. They didn't believe me. I had to argue with them. This was like when quite a while ago. Was it
Mm-hmm.
they didn't believe it would work. And they said we needed a meeting, and I said okay, and they said it's not going to work, and I said it does work. Here's the proof.
Yeah,
And then
well,
they were
that's where you come in.
shocked. They were shocked. They were shocked that AI could do that. But
Yeah.
yes,
So in a way, every search, regardless if it's through your light or deep research versions, run through the same meticulous process you'd personally use.
yes. And then once you so you've done your legislative research. You started from light.
Yeah.
You've gotten a bit of an idea. You go to deep, and it tells you what the principles are, what the answer is, what it thinks the answer is, and it gives you the authority So the authority could be cases and it could be legislation. But the
Okay.
legislation would be only as analyzed in the particular cases. Then you could go and retrieve all the case summaries for those particular cases that we have referred to.
Uh-huh.
It would save you money, actually. It would save you money because everyone has limits to just retrieve the case summaries that are already in the database rather than trying to run the structured case summary yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would then go to the legislation research, conduct your legislation, and it would tell you what the analysis, and it would be backed up by case law. And then to be thorough, you would find which cases that you think are relevant to the answer and then retrieve the case summaries. And then
Uh-huh.
you compare the case summaries against the original. You would track through to all the pinpoint references to check
Yeah.
exactly what was said. And you have to do that. Like, in the work that I've been doing, yes,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you the answer in like a précis form, but you do need to read the case itself so that you can get the in-depth reasoning and the analysis. And you need that because it's not just superficial.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In order to do an in-depth analysis, you have to follow that path.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just looking ahead, as damages claims get more complicated and clients expect faster, smarter answers, where do you see my AI heading next, Lena? How is it evolving to keep up with this new pace of practice?
Well, I've been speaking to, at the moment, we're releasing all those features that I've only just mentioned to you. But then in our second phase, I'm going to do a voice activated AI because I know there's some
Mm.
people who don't like to type so that you can talk to it and it will give
Yeah.
you the answer. We're going to have a chronology feature so that you can upload your brief and it will help you prepare a chronology with pinpoint references to the source material. And then some judges have said to me, can we upload a case and then you can tell us whether there are any appeal points in there. And I said, yes, I can do that. I can write the algorithm for that. I can test it. But there's two different types of errors. You can have an error of law because the judges just applied the wrong rule, or you can have an error where they have made findings that are against the weight of the evidence. The
Mhm.
second part is very involved, and I don't think I'll go there because it will require you to upload the entire corpus of evidence from the trial.
Mhm.
And then it would have to work out, whether the ultimate finding was against the weight of the evidence on the particular issue. I just think, I
Okay.
mean, I don't think I want to tackle that. It's just maybe further down the track, but I can tackle the error of law because, for me, it's first principles law. We can easily I can write the algorithms to extract the relevant cases to see if the right or the wrong rule has been applied.
Mhm.
I can do that. And then I also want to do comparative legal research because at the moment you can do jurisdiction specific research. And then it's just the next step is to get my AI to compare the outputs for various jurisdictions to see how it's different.
Mhm. Well, again, from first
Then,
principles, and for sure, a lot would love that voice prompt feature you're gonna have soon.
yes. And then the next thing I want to do, and we've left that off to stage 2, is that we want to do policy research as well from
Okay.
first principles, well, not first principles, but on, the parliamentary debates, the law reform reports, etc. True in-depth policy research. You can do policy research now, but the policy will only be extracted from what the cases say the policies are, which
Yeah.
which
Wow, so much work for
well, that's stage 2.
Yes.
But at the same time as working on stage 2, we also have to build our UK and US
Yes.
capabilities.
Yeah.
Well, it's December to apply for the Allen and O Refuse program,
Mhm.
and I don't know when they tell us.
Yeah.
They invite you to apply in December. In January, you actually apply. Then I don't know when the assessment process is, but if you get in, then it's 7 months from May. But I definitely hope we'll have the US and UK capability. So we'll do those features and then also be building our
Mhm.
UK US databases.
Well, it sounds like you're not just keeping up with the industry, Lena, you're shaping where it's going. And as I always would say, that's a kind of forward thinking leadership we need more of across every sector. So thank you so much again for sharing your insights, Lena. It's a pleasure, always.
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 Thanks, Miles. Always.
Thank you. Okay, so folks, if you're in legal practice or you support legal teams and want to see what My AI Law can do for your firm, check out myai.law. You can also find Lena on LinkedIn or follow My AI Law's updates there too. Thank you so much for staying with us. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your cleverest friend to tune in as well. See you again next time. This has been your host, Miles. Stay focused and inspired with Xraised.